Hi everyone, welcome to Knowledge Center. I have got so many requests from the viewers to take up an ascending order programming. So in microcontroller, today I am going to take my ascending order programming, and also by just understanding this, you can also write a program for descending order. The only thing you need to do is watch this video till the end, and if it is clear for you, press the like button, also share among your friends. Let's begin with the logic of ascending order program. Here already I have written a program on the board, but I will not take up directly to this. First understand the logic, then you can easily get this concept. So the logic is very simple. Let me take an example of 5 numbers. If you want to write some 5 numbers, you need to have some memory. So let me start writing at 30H. Means this is the address where I am going to give the 5 inputs, and those inputs has to be arranged in a ascending order by the end. So let's say 30, 31, 32, 33 and 34. So these are the addresses where I am going to give an input. You need to give an input here. Say the inputs are like 5, 05, 08, 03, 01 and say 0A. Random numbers have been given here, right? So these are the input. So finally, what is the required output? So in the same address, we require the output in this fashion. So the output should be like this. We should get 01 at the top, next 03, 05, 08 and 0A. This must be the result. To achieve this, what has to be done? Let's look into that part here. I will erase this result. Let's see at the end. Now, a simple funda is to compare the 2-digit numbers. First, I will compare these 2 numbers, and in that comparison, you have to check that the number, which number is larger. Means I will take up it like this. These are 5 data. So how many times you are going to compare? If you have 5 data, we need to compare 4 times. Okay. Means if you want to compare, we need minimum 2 data. For one comparison, we need 2 data. Means 5 and 8. If you have 2 numbers, then only we can make a comparison. You can't compare with by having just 1 data. So what I mean is, if you have a 5 data, you can make 4 comparisons. That here we call it as a 4 counts. Okay. So let's say first comparison. This is the first comparison. You have to compare 5 and 8. Okay. Compare these two. Take this in one register and this in the another register, and start comparing. Okay, while comparing, you should come to know that this is smaller and this is larger. If this is smaller, let it be as it is. Don't make change. Okay, because I want this pattern only. Smaller should be at the top. The larger number should be at the next level, because that is an ascending order. So we compare it and will not make change if this is smaller. Then next what we do, we will compare second. This data has to be compared with the third number. This we call it as a second comparison. So while doing this comparison, the first data is greater than the second data, right? So we have to make the exchange here. These 2 numbers has to be exchanged. So we should get 3 here and 8 here. That is what we need to do. If means you have to exchange the numbers only if first data is greater than the second data. Okay, so that is what the logic is. So after that we get it like this: 05. After first comparison we had 05 there as it is, but after second comparison we got 03 here and you get 08 here. Next, make the third comparison. So at that third comparison you will not have 03 here, it will be exchanged. So you can write it here itself. You will have 3 here and we will have 8 here. Now make the third comparison. This is first data now, this is the second data. 8 and 1 are compared together, and again this is larger than the second number, so exchange has to be done. See, understand the condition here. You have to exchange the number if and only if the first number is greater than the second number, right? If not, no need of exchanging it. So now here you have to exchange because this is greater. So after exchange you get 1 here and 8 here. Again make this last comparison, that is the fourth comparison. What do you get? 8 and A. So first number is smaller than the second number. So here I don't need to exchange it. So I will not exchange at this part. Right. So by the end of this 4 comparisons, what was the output you got? We got 5, 3, 1, 8, A. But is it the final result? This is not the final result. The final result what we expect is 1, 3, 5, 8, A. This is what I want finally. So after making this 4 comparison, I have made some change here and there. I have got some changes, but I didn't got the final answer. So these 4 counts what I have made, these 4 comparisons what I have made here, I call these as internal comparisons or internal count. So internal count has to be assigned. But even after comparing 4 times, I didn't got the final result. I got 5318A. This is not the final answer. This is the final answer. So what you need to do now? You start repeating this process again. Means I make this comparison once again. Now again I start with the first number. I repeat the process. First and second number has to be compared. Now here 5 and 3 when I compare, first number is larger. So it has to be exchanged. So now it will be exchanged. Right. So we get 3 here and you get 5 here after first comparison. Right. Same way we have to compare and exchange. So it means that here also we get 4 comparisons. So these internal counts, these are called internal counts, but how many times you have to repeat it? You have to repeat it again 4 times. That is called external count. External count. We need internal count as well as the external count, because by just making once if you compare 4 times, then you may not get the final answer. So you should repeat it how many times, how many numbers you are given. Based on that you have to decide. So it is very clear in ascending order program that we need 2 counts, internal count and external count. External count and internal count, those 2 numbers are dependent on how many inputs you are giving. If you are giving 5 inputs, both the counts should be 4. If you are giving 10 inputs, then both the counts should be 9. Okay, because just -1 you have to do. Right. So let's start with the program. I have a program here. So I will compare it and let us tell you how we have written these lines over there and how we get the output. Let me take the same input here. I will start up with the same input. But one thing you need to understand here, I told that we need to compare. But in microcontroller, we have one special instruction called CJNE, which is going to do that comparison. Okay, already in my previous video I have explained about CJNE. Those who have missed it, go through the link below. It will be mentioned in the description. Go through that link. Okay. So even though here also I am going to clarify it, what actually CJNE will do. So first, let's give the input here. Say, let me take the inputs something like this: 0A, 0, 9, 7, 3, and 5. I give some new inputs now. Okay. So where you are going to give that input? I need to give the input at certain location. So I want to give it at 30H. Okay. And how many means I told you that how many inputs you give. Based on that you have to decide the count values. Internal count and external count. So first let us mention those count values. So ORG 0000 it has been started. And then I have taken a count value 04 into R2. That is an external count. Okay, one external count has to be assigned first. So first I have assigned external count into register R2. Then you assign the location where you give the input. So at 30H I want to give the input. So assign that location to some register, that is R0. I have assigned it for R0. Move R0 as 30H. So this has been done. Okay, here we have written some label. Let me erase this and I will write this label later, so that it will be clear why we write that label exactly on that line only. Now just understand that why we have written this move R0 hash 30H, just to assign the address where you want to give the input. Okay. Then after that you assign the internal count. Internally I need to make 4 counts. So again 4 has to be assigned to some other register. That is, I have taken R3. You can take any number over there, R3, R5, R7, R4, any number up to R7. Okay. So these 3 are just the allocation. I am assigning the location, I am assigning the internal and external count. External count should be at the beginning, and then you start with the location and then internal count. So now I need to compare these two. Okay. So in order to compare these two, those two has to be there in a register. Okay. So we have an instruction called CJNE to make this comparison, and the syntax of this CJNE is it will be having a destination, comma source, comma label. So here what we have written in the program is CJNE A comma 20H comma check. Okay. So this is label, this is the source address, this is destination. Always destination should be accumulator when you use this CJNE instruction. Let me tell you what actually happens here. Means before that, let me tell you where these two data has to be taken. They have told you up to this line. Now I will come for the next line. So what you need to do, this first data has to be given into accumulator. I will take this into accumulator, and this will be taken into 20H. Right. So write an instruction to move this data to accumulator. Where do we have this? We have it at 30H, and 30H is assigned to R0. Okay. Don't forget it. 30H is assigned to R0. So I use this line move A comma at R0. Here also I have a label. I will remove this so that later you can understand it. So now what happened? We get that first number. This input what we have 0A is given into accumulator. I am taking that first data into accumulator. Then I want the second data into accumulator. But where we have that second data? We have second data into 20H I want. So we have the second data in 31. So increment that R0. So that's the reason why we have allocated that to register, so that I can make the increment and decrement over there. Now I am incrementing the R0. So once if I increment the R0, address of R0 will be 31. Now R0 is pointing towards 31, and take that to 20H. So for that I have written move 20H comma at R0. So this will be given to 20H. That task has been done by using these particular instructions. I have taken the input to accumulator and 20H. Now we need to compare. Okay. So when we compare, let's see what's going to happen. This is the most important line in this program. So when we compare these two, there are possibility of having three results. Means this is first data, this is second data. I will tell you here. If first data will be equal to second data, this is the first case. Both may be equal. Or you may get first data is lesser than second data. Or you may get first data greater than second data. So these are the only three possibilities we may get when we compare two numbers. So here when I write CJNE A comma 20H and check, that is the label. So A is destination, 20H is source. So what happens here actually, if destination is lesser than or equal to source, we should understand this most important point here. And if destination is greater than source, okay, it will affect the carry flag. CJNE instruction, what actually it will do? Compare and jump if not equal. It will compare. First it will compare the content of destination and the content of source. Okay. Here if it is not equal, it will jump to the label what we have written here. So now it will compare these two, A and 9. Means the content of accumulator and the content of 20H. These two are the data. It will compare, and we know that these two are not equal. So it will jump to this label check. So here I have written that check. So after that what happens? It has compared and it is clearly mentioned that that is not equal. If not equal, it will jump here. Where you have written that label, it will jump to that label. Right? And also it will affect one more important flag, that is carry flag. Carry flag. See, it will, while comparison, it will also do this task. If destination is lesser than or equal to source, then this carry flag is going to be, okay, the carry flag is going to be high. If destination is greater than source, then the carry flag will be 0. So you should be very careful about this point. CJNE instruction is not just comparing, it is also affecting the carry flag based on the comparison. So we can say that if the first data, according to my program, I have taken first data into accumulator. This first data is taken into accumulator. So if the first data is equal to second data, or if it is less than second data, then we get carry. You get carry. Okay. If it is greater than second data, you won't get carry. Now the logic here, actually the program, this is the major part of a program. Why I'm looking into carry? You should understand this. Based on this carry, you can decide that whatever the data I have in accumulator, whether it is a larger number or a smaller number. Okay. If there is a carry, say assume that carry is 1. Actually, when at what condition we get this carry as high? Only if first data is lesser than or equal to source. Means first data means what? Accumulator. If accumulator content is lesser than or equal to the 20h content, then you get a carry. Right? So it means if there is a carry, this itself is a smaller number. That is what the indication. The first data is smaller number. Then don't exchange it. Don't make any change. Go for the next part. That's the meaning you need to get. So that's what we have written here. If you understand that part, then you can apply it here. Okay. So what I have, look at this part, what I have done, I am checking the carry flag. Immediately when we jump from that particular line, I am checking for carry flag. Okay. What happens if there is a carry? If there is a carry, what you need to do? You don't need to do anything. If there is a carry, don't need to do anything. If for example, if I have a smaller number here, then why should I exchange it? I don't want to exchange. In ascending order, first number should be smaller number. Right? So we get that carry only if the first number is smaller number, lesser or equal to the second number. But in this case, what happens? Do we get a carry now? Let's check it. So this is the logic I have explained. Now I will explain according to the input what you have given. Okay. So let me write it here. So once I compare these two numbers, A and 9, after this instruction, what happens? This is destination, this is source. So destination is greater than source. So the carry flag is going to be 0. You won't get carry. You won't get carry. So it means by looking into this number, what you need to understand, I should move this 9 here and A should be here. I should exchange. But microcontroller will not understand by just looking into number. So what I have done, I am using that carry bit. Now carry bit is 0 because of this is larger number. So if it is 0, you have to exchange. That is the meaning. So if there is a carry, you come here. If there is no carry, you will come for the next line. Now we don't have a carry. So what has to be done? I have to exchange this. So immediately I have written exchange line over there. Exchange instruction. Okay. So what is going to happen now? After this, it will come here. It will check and it will come here. Exchange. So what is the exchange? This is R0 is pointing towards 31. So what I have done here, exchange A comma at R0. So accumulator, after this instruction, let's see what's going to happen. Accumulator will have the content of R0. So R0 was, what is that? 09. Right? So the content of R0 was 09. So that will be given to accumulator and it is exchange. And whatever the accumulator we had, accumulator had 0A. So that will be given to at R0. At R0 is nothing but what? R0 is pointing towards 31. So at 31, I will get 0A. So I got that 31, I got it here. Okay. So we can say that at accumulator I got 09. I got this number here. And 0A is immediately given to 31H. So we got 0A here. You got 0A. So after execution of this particular exchange instruction, this is what is going to happen. Is it the complete task? Have you done the complete task till now? No. Because I got A here, but I didn't got 9 here. I got 9 in accumulator. I got 9 in accumulator. But I want that 9 to be given into this. Where? At 30H. But R0 is pointing towards 31, na? So decrement R0. Decrement R0. So once you decrement that R0, R0 will be pointing towards 30H, this address. And then now move this accumulator content to R0. Okay. So move at R0 comma A. So at this point at 30H you get the content of accumulator 9 into this. So we get 9 over there. Right. So we can say here I am going to get 9. This is about the first data. I got 9 there. Okay. Right. First exchange has been done. So this complete part is used to just make the exchange if the first number is larger, if the carry is 0. If not, no need to do this. Just keep it as it is. And after this, now R0 is pointing towards 30. Okay, I don't want to check this part further. Now what? First comparison has been done here. First comparison has been over. Now I need to go for second comparison. So for second comparison, what we do? We will take this as the first number, this as the second number. So R0 should be pointed towards 31. So I am incrementing the R0 here. I am incrementing the R0. So R0 will point towards 31 now. Okay, this portion is important. Decrementing and incrementing. Decrementing has been done to put the previous data here. Incrementing has been done so that I can move further. So now R0 is pointing towards this. Okay, and these two has to be compared now. This is the second comparison. So first comparison has been over. So you need to check that whether the comparison has been done or not. So for that we are using an instruction called DJNZ. DJNZ R3. So this is the internal count. First count has been done. So if it is not 0, go back. So where should I go back now? I have written a loop. Where should I go back? What has to be done? Okay, you should decide now. So here, what has to be done? I should take this into accumulator and this into 20H, right? So you look into the instruction, where do we have that? The instruction where this data is given into accumulator. There you have to jump. So loop has been written here. The loop has to be written somewhere in this program. So this is the line where actually, this is the instruction which is going to do that task. Means R0 is now pointing towards 31. At R0 will be given to A. Content of that will be given to A. So I want this into accumulator. So I need to jump here. So that's what it means. So based on that, you have to write the labels here. So that's why I told I'll write it later. So this is loop. Now what happens? First this has been taken into accumulator and increment R0. So R0 will be pointing towards the 32 and take that into 20H. So this will be taken into 20H and compare. Once we compare it, if here destination is greater than source, so do we get a carry or not? If destination is greater, so I'll write that, I'll keep the condition here. If destination is lesser than the source, then the carry will be high. If destination is greater than source, then the carry will be 0. So now destination is greater, so you won't get carry. You won't get carry. If there is a carry, you come here. If there is no carry, again you have to exchange. So again these 4 lines will be executed and it will be exchanged. So same thing happens here, and let me tell you what happens here. We get, after execution of these lines up to this, we get 7 here and A. That is going to be executed. And again it will check for a R3 whether I have completed all the 4 internal loops. No, because only 2 has been done. Now decrement R3, still it is not 0. Go back, loop, jump here. So what happens now? This will be a third comparison. This is going to be executed now. This will be taken into accumulator and increment R0, and this will be taken into 20H and compare those two. Again there will be no carry because destination is greater than source. So there will be no carry. If there is no carry, this will execute and exchange will be done. Then what happens? We get 3 and A. Exchange will be done here. So let me write it here. 3 is here, A is here after the end of this line. Then decrement R3, we left one more. So it is not 0. Again it will go back to that loop and this comparison will be taken care. This is 4th loop. Okay. Then compare, destination is greater. So carry will be 0. So we will execute this line and finally we get exchange will be occur here. So we get 5 at this point and A here. Then again decrement R3. Now R3 becomes 0 because all 4 counts have been done. And I have assigned 4. 4 minus 1 is 3, 2, 1 and finally it will be 0. Now once it is 0, it will come out of the loop, it will not go back. So it is an indication that all internal counts have been done. Okay. So now we go for a next line. So this is the next line we have written here. DJNZ R2 back. So after internal count, we have to check for external count. So this is the first external count. Okay. Now what we do? We will check here. We will come back here and check for R2. R2 was 4. Now if I decrement it will become 3. It's not 0. So it means I should repeat again from the beginning. From the beginning I should do this. This has to be done 4 times. Okay, because I have given 5 data. So now this R2 will become 3. That is not 0. If it is not 0, jump to back. the label. So what has to be done now? Now it is not 0. I compared and I am not getting the proper answer. I am getting the answer like this now. 9, 7, 3, 5, 8. This is not the proper ascending order. I want 3 at the top, right? But I got this for after one complete external comparison. So now what you need to do? You have to repeat the process again. You have to repeat this process now. So again you should take these two numbers and start comparing. Then these two, these two, these two. 4 internal counts has to be done from the beginning now. So where do we assign it? Which line is there? Where should I jump now? Where should I write this back? You have to write that back at this particular label line. Move R0 30H, because R0 has to be assigned from this number now. I want to start it from the beginning. So the very first line has to be immediate. The first line we have to write the label called back. Okay. So now again 30H will be assigned to R0. Okay. Then 4 internal count has been again assigned because it was decremented earlier. It was 0. Now again you need to reassign it. So it will be done. Take the first content into accumulator. This will be taken into accumulator. And increment and second content into 20H. So this is the second content that will be taken into 20H. Again we check it. Here it will be exchanged because this is greater. If destination is greater, no carry. If no carry, exchange has to be done. Right. So you concentrate on this here. If you change one bit here, it will be a program for a descending order. So now after first comparison, we get 7 here and 9 here. We get that number. So the same way you get a second comparison, third comparison, every comparisons will be carried out. Okay. So after these 4 counts, you get the numbers like this. 9, 3. So here also it will be get exchanged. After second comparison, we get 3 here, 9 here. After third comparison, we get 5 here, 9 here. So 1, 2, 3. Now let's see after the fourth comparison what happens here. So when we have these two numbers, okay, when we compare, this is smaller and this is larger. So there will be a carry now. There will be a carry. So if there is a carry, is it necessary to exchange? No. So if there is a carry, what happens? You check it here. Jump if carry. If no carry, we use to exchange. Now if there is a carry, where it is jump, it will jump to next. So this line. So it is skipping complete this portion. Exchange portion has been skipped. And it will just decrement that R3 and see to that it will jump back to low. If not, it will come out of that and again it will assign. So this process will be continued 4 times. Okay, external 4 times, internal 4 times, right? So this is what the program for an ascending order. So after completion of this external 4 counts, we get the final answer as at the top we'll have 3, 5, 7, 9, 8. You can check it out in the software over there by just putting these numbers. So this is the logic of the program here. So now let's see how to write a descending order program. Very simple, just put JNC instead of JC, because reverse it. So we wanted, means I wanted first number should be a smaller number, so I used to exchange only if it is a greater. Now I will exchange only if it is smaller. Okay, so by just putting into this, instead of JC you write it as JNC. Instead of JC you write here JNC. Then this complete program will be turned as a descending order program. You check it out once, analyze this program and see how it becomes descending order program. And one more thing, before signing off, I'll tell you one more line here. I have just maintained some space here to write one special line. Let me tell you what is that line. Okay, see here I have taken an input in such a case that we didn't have any same numbers. What if I give a same numbers, right? If I give the inputs as 3 and 3, then when we compare, what happens if both are equal? If both are equal, it is true. Means compare and jump if not equal. If not equal, then only it will come to this line. If both are equal, it will come for the next line immediately. So if both are equal, what you need to do? If for example, if I give 3 and 3, is it necessary to exchange those numbers? Nothing has to be done. Nothing is required because both are same, right? So we directly need to jump here. So here what you can write, if both are same, it will come immediately next line. It will come to the next line. If both are same, no need of checking this carry and all. You can directly come to this. But it will come for next line. So there what I do, I'll put S jump, short jump, and I'll write this label there. Next. So it will directly jump to this line. If both are same, no need of checking for carry also. If both are same, then no need of exchanging or doing anything. Just simply jump here. That's the reason why I have just left one line over there. I hope this is clear for you. If this is clear, you just like the button, press the like button and also share among your friends. Thank you guys.